Hello, good evening, and welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. The top stories tonight. Police institute investigations into the abduction of a mobile money agent. Suspected UPND cadres continue to oppress drivers at KULIMA-TOWER bus station. Teachers at a private school in KANYAMA protest against unpaid salaries. In international news, South Africa declares national disaster after storm killed hundreds. And in sports news, Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola refuses to speak about Borussia Dortmund striker HAALAND. Hello, now the news in detail. Police have instituted investigations into a matter where a mobile money agent, Pamela Chisupa, 22, is believed to have been abducted and tortured. According to a statement availed to Camnet News, Police Inspector General Lemi Kajoba says the police is working around the clock to have her released from the alleged abductors and calls on the general citizenry for cooperation in the process. Meanwhile, mobile money booth operators along Lusaka's Cairo Road have expressed fear in their operations, appealing for tight safety measures from the security wings as they have been the target by swindlers lately. More in the following report.
This is the video going around social media involving Pamela Chisupa, 22 of age, who is believed to have been abducted by unknown criminals. A case which is so alien in Zambia as described by Zambia police. Some basic facts in this matter are that on the material date of April 13, 2022, Pamela was at her Airtel booth when two male persons went to her booth and pretended to be customers wanting to transact money. Later on, the duo was seen moving with her across Cairo Road, and that was the last time Pamela was seen. On April 15, 2022, a friend to Pamela received a call from a victim's phone demanding a ransom of 15,000 kwacha for her release. It has now taken social media for the public to learn of this incident. A number of concerns and sentiments have been raised on various social media platforms, including Petauke Member of Parliament J. Banda, who Tuesday morning visited the police headquarters to inquire, like any other, why the seeming laxity from the security wings.
Any law. So I don't know anything. I've never investigated anything, but according to my own understanding, my opinion was that the police should be with these people who are receiving calls, so that at least whatever information is coming, they should be working on it.
When was this case reported to the police by the family, according to you?
It was reported on Thursday. So you can imagine, because I was so interested, because it was reported on Thursday. So Thursday, that's last week, and today it's Tuesday. That's why I said, no. I'm sure maybe with my input and the family, I'm sure we can bring good results.
So
that's why we have decided to come here. Now, I requested to see the IG, and I thank God we are welcomed nicely. So from there now, we've been handed over to the investigating team. So they are now talking with the family members, those who are receiving information from those who abducted the girl. Yeah, for me, I've got 80% confidence in Zambia police that they'll bring to book the criminals who are behind this girl, Pamela.
This development has disturbed some mobile money booth operators along Lusaka's Cairo Road, where Pamela was operating from, appealing for tight safety measures from the security wings, as these people have been a target by swindlers lately.
Abasina mbere bwino chani baba pena yona video chifupa tenzo byonera chekutali na tabwa chati namuno muzambia kwa bonkara ma issues yaso na mbere bwino pangono peka oti taboyo pa ukara mabutu mundu akakutana pena ngo mtu agwera na moto okabwera so taboyo pati mundu ngamina ngachite stinga zile so yankala chemonga ati muntu akakuza transaction yocho kapa booth beta muza chabati ngasimufuno bwera pa booth beta mwankala so chabe sike cheba funika cheba trace chabe ngati uja muntu pali video mina anatuma ija funika trace pali namba ija ngati kwani sika bafunika ba trace namba ija so ngati bana moving apa jabami baliri bapezeko machine ya kutubanga sakile kumupeza uja muntu kwa mina aliri
together maybe zambo kumbuka olokuma 13 so okuma 15 kai mwene ankalira ija litafia maningi hapa so yenga nila kairi in terms of maybe communication because it's some about sofuninga or both when you start deposit or withdraw kuri muntu asozio ndi sakairi lo bank so apeza drum bank achoka amochita attend kuri muntu panje ama nkala momene mujamana wankala mabuthi ya they attend to people. Meanwhile,
addressing the media, Police Inspector General Lemikajowa says police have instituted investigations into the matter.
We would like to inform the public that this type of crime is alien to this country. The Zambia Police takes protection of women against any form of crime seriously. As such, we have put all our resources together and working with other collaborating partners to possibly secure a safe release from the alleged abductors. We are calling on the general citizenry to fully cooperate with us as we work around the clock to have our release from these criminals.
No human deserves this kind of treatment, and this kind of lawlessness must be highly condemned. One can only hope for a swift release of Pamela safely. Alex Chimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Teachers at Nyakezu Vision School in Lusaka's KANYAMA compound have protested against unpaid salaries and have threatened to ensure that pupils do not write their end-of-term tests if management does not settle the dues. School head of languages Smith Chilimo has told Camnet News that the school authority is in a habit of not paying its workers who, out of frustration, resign without getting their dues. Mr. Chilimo says the school management owes them in excess of 3 months unpaid salaries and has since appealed to the District Education Board Secretary to intervene in the matter. And school director Kelvin Zulu, when contacted for a comment, said COVID-19 has negatively affected the operations of the school and that he has been doing everything possible to ensure that teachers get paid. More in this report.
They say the importance of education cannot be overestimated as it is the key to a bright future. But delivery of quality education comes at a great cost, as teachers who deliver the quality education need to be motivated through what is called a salary. The case for teachers at Nyakezu Vision School in Lusaka's KANYAMA compound is however different, as they claim they have gone months without a salary. The teachers who have decided to bring the matter to the attention of relevant authorities claim the situation is too much, as they feel exploited by the school director Kelvin Zulu.
Final say is that he's not paying us because he does not have money. and he has given us a tabulation of the figures, the money that came in and how it was spent, for which we are not sure as to whether this is true. He employed us knowing that he will be able to pay us at the end of the day. So we feel this is nothing else but simply stinginess, because at the end of the day, the figures are not tallying with the people that we have at this school.
You realize that when you come to this school, teachers are not being paid. Okay? Teachers haven't been paid like for the past 4 months, from way back November, and this is April. So now, if April ends, it means we'll go 4 months without pay, which is unfortunate. We are disadvantaging, one, the learners that have paid. Because if we don't teach as teachers, the learners that have paid, that we are disadvantaging. And we're also concerned about their future.
With teachers in the private sector not having unions to represent them, these teachers have since appealed to the government through the District Education Board to intervene in the matter.
We are protesting because we are not being paid for 4 months. Starting from last November, we have not been paid. I think teachers in private schools are being exploited because we don't have unions. I think the relevant authority should come in and protect us as the private school teachers. Our director, I think, is unconcerned of our views because this problem has not started this year. It started a long time ago. Every time we are about to close, we go with arrears. We have families to feed on.
But school director Kelvin Zulu, when contacted for a comment, told this reporter that the COVID-19 has had a negative bearing on the school finances. He says out of 42 teachers employed earlier, only 26 teachers have remained.
Arrears to the teachers, over which now when we open in 2022, we just worked for February and March. That money we collected February and March, we have given them. But their issue is give us the whole money we worked last time. So it's what I'm trying to explain to them, say no, we are going to give you the money. Since we have just worked for 2 months, wait for us, otherwise next term we're going to finish up the war.
Mr. Zolo has further explained that the school fees are not much, as baby class to grade 4 are meant to pay 50 kwacha per month, while grade 5 to 7 pay 80 kwacha per month, with grade 8 and 9 paying 120 per month, and grade 10 to grade 12 paying 130 per month.
Last term, we did not write our end of term tests because of the same issue of not being paid the teachers. And this, it is affecting us, especially us who are in examination classes.
Teachers are not putting more effort on our education because of them not being paid properly. So it's affecting us and also our siblings or guardians and fathers at home. They think like us pupils are not putting more effort on our education. So I think that the way we're affecting is our education.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Zambia National Union of Teachers, ZANUT, has called on the United Party for National Development UPND administration through the Ministry of Education to consider introducing reforms around information communication technologies, ICTs, in Zambian schools as one way of solving long-existing problems. Among the challenges that have been affecting this subject in public schools include the lack of fully functional computer laboratories, especially in rural areas, a high pupil-computer ratio, and limited teachers for the subject. In an interview, ZANUT Director, Public Relations and International Affairs, Mr. Godwin Maseka, says if the status quo remains the same, pupils in public schools will continue being left behind as education is now transitioning onto the online space. More in this report.
The development of any country depends on the education and skills of its population. With the world now becoming a global village due to the internet, many education systems around the world are also moving from the traditional method to the use of modern technologies. While Zambia has joined the rest of the world in introducing information communication technologies, ICTs, in schools, some stakeholders feel that the same are not having the desired impact on learners in public schools due to various challenges that have been in existence for a long time. These challenges include the high number of pupils per computer used, lack of fully functioning computer labs mainly in rural areas, slow rural electrification, which is currently at 8%, lack of technical support to maintain and upgrade computing equipment, as well as limited teachers for the same. These challenges have created education gaps between learners in public schools and those in private schools, as these mostly have the ICT learning infrastructure. In this vein, Zambia National Union of Teachers ZANU Director Public Relations and International Affairs Mr. Godwin Maseka says there is need for reforms to be undertaken for ICTs in public schools, as the same have been limping for a long time.
As a labor movement, our advocacy would be, if we are to advance in the implementation of ICT programs, there is need for us to heighten and recognize the importance of ICT in our education system. Recognition has already been put in place, but we need to do more if we can translate the actual teaching into reality when our learners have left schools.
Benefits of learning ICTs include improved research skills, enhanced access to information, and equitable education. Mr. Maseka adds that due to this, the status quo should not remain the same, even in the new administration.
We need to have standard officers who are equipped in ICT. At provincial level, we need the senior education standard officers in charge of ICT. At national level, we need a department or director standard in charge of ICT. Once we actualize this, I can assure you we are going to make serious transformation in our education system. Besides, if we are saying vocational career pathway is the way to go, we are saying we need to heighten in terms of procurement of these ICT gadgets that is going to promote quality delivery of ICT.
If Zambia is to attain sustainable development goal number 4, which aims at ensuring quality education for all by 2030, addressing gaps in this sector, such as in the area of ICTs, is imperative. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Wrangles have continued at Lusaka's KULIMA-TOWER bus station as a group of bus drivers continue crying foul over the alleged CADRES at the station, calling for a cleanup by the Zambia Police Service and the local authority. In an interview, bus drivers have claimed by exhibiting that what they term as evidence showing the level of corruption going on at the bus station, including the collection of levies by suspected United Party for National Development UPND cadres. More in this report.
On 11th of April 2022, a group of bus drivers from Lusaka's KULIMA-TOWER bus station hinted on the ongoing confusion at the station, calling for the local authority to clean up the CADRES that is slowly surfacing at the station.
So uli omuntu ulesende ndalama tabebe fintu ifile ekitika pa ground enala bebe fintu ifisuma wae walesende shile ndalama.
These wrangles have continued to this day as the drivers Monday press on the demand for removal of some leading personnel, especially those handling their contribution.
Officer in charge KULIMA-TOWER Madamu Mboloma Bativuta please ndiye bagwira ma drivers wamene bagwira tablet kuti EI and the committee there is not a pure committee, they are illegal committee because they are not elected by the drivers. They came themselves with their power nakuti apa ndise tiriko, they start demanding money from us. Kumenyewa kuchita bwanji aswa munatamba last week banzatu bali 11 banando chokela ku court bamdala nachivutikira beka chipani. Please Mr. Papa ta please hapo pemuliri paliponse mumvere dandalo yatu ona ni makadazi so apa manje tikakambao pangania hadi paise ma drivers pachirimba batigwirisa manje mumasales atino ndiso amene tipanga chona.
They have since called on the Police Inspector General Lemika Joba to come in and bring about sanity.
Mumvera vamene tikamba tikonga directive ya president amene wanakamba no one should collect the money in the bus station and the market, but vaborera mu makadazi awa tifuna ma election muri matawa mwatu muja tichinje system weka msuza kamveramo chongo.
Since his election, President Hakainde Hichilema has put it firmly on record that CADRES will be a thing of the past as far as the UPND administration is concerned. It is therefore a huge concern for these drivers that it is being experienced at the station. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Government says there is no need to create animosity or falsehood that government is refusing to meet the Community Resource Board to discuss matters of signing a statutory instrument with regards to gaming activities and how they should benefit communities. Traditional leaders had Wednesday, 12th April 2022, marched to the Ministry of Tourism seeking answers from the ministry as to why officials from the ministry failed to show up at a meeting they were invited to by traditional leaders. But Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga says before any statutory instrument can be signed, consultations from relevant authorities, including the community, needs to be done. The Permanent Secretary says there is a model used to share resources that come out of gaming activities and that government will meet the traditional leaders when they request to do so. More in this report.
Wednesday, 12th April 2022, some traditional leaders drawn from different parts of the country met at a two-day workshop organized by the Zambia Community Management Resources Board Association in Lusaka, with the hope of being addressed by the Ministry of Tourism over matters of great importance that were agreed upon in 2021. Unfortunately, no government official showed up at the meeting, a matter that angered the traditional leaders who were later forced to visit the Ministry of Tourism to seek answers as to why officials from the ministry failed to honor the invitation.
We should just find ways of president. We should just find ways of so like Sakambe Maningi. Let's go there. Let's be attended to. Once they attended, whether they don't attend to us, we'll come back, then we can do our normal meeting and discuss the rest of what we are supposed to do.
Among the issues to be addressed was the signing of hunting concessions in the 19 hunting blocks and the signing and finalizing of a statutory instrument, among other things. Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga, when contacted for a comment over the matter, says there is no need to create animosity or falsehood that government is refusing to meet Community Resource Board to discuss matters of great importance.
It's an engagement, basically, that we have to have a positive outcome and to understand each other from government's point of view and also from the community points of view. Otherwise, the community, we are engaging them. There's nobody who's snubbing the communities because they are stakeholders. The chiefs are stakeholders in this resource, and we'll continue to deal with them as partners, okay, going forward. And there is no need to create animosity or falsehoods that we are trying to actually not to meet the CBIs, or not CBI but Community Resource Boards or CRB.
The Permanent Secretary adds that when government is called upon to meet traditional leaders, it will fulfill its mandate.
Government, and they formalize to say we need to have a meeting. As you know, there are a governance process also on behalf of the communities. So the resources that they use, those are public resources, and they need to be accountable for those resources as well. So you will see next phases that the Auditor General's office will get involved to ensure that when they go on the ground, the resources are utilized for the communities as we expect them to be.
Meanwhile, CBI, a Dutch NGO working with the tourism sector in Zambia, says tourism in the country has great potential that has not yet been realized, thereby limiting its growth.
That because some of the agents that represent our country outside the continent do not understand what we have here. They only sell maybe 2-3 nights in Livingston, and when people get here, they get very disappointed because there's so much to do, but with little time. So, you know, sustainable tourism is just going to help us as well, just come up and improve our standards of working.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
United Party for National Development UPND member Rene Hajombwa has cautioned market traders against buying land from any market official, stating that they should only accept land from the council. This follows reports of continued illegal land allocation by market officials at the Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, and Munyaole Markets, among others. Speaking to Camnet News at Lusaka's COMESA Market, Mr. Hajombwa adds that many traders will lose their land if they do not follow the correct procedure of acquiring land, as the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development is soon expected to audit land in these facilities. More in this report.
allocation in markets, especially in Zambia's capital city Lusaka, is something that has been highly questioned by stakeholders, as some argue that land allocation has been politicized. Due to the alleged politicization, traders at the Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, in November 2021 locked up the offices of market management on allegations that these were allocating land illegally for personal benefit.
The challenge that we are facing right now is that they are not allocating the people themselves their own portions of shops. Instead of following the procedure, they are selling to different people that are not even supposed to be at this market.
4 months later, reports of the same have continued. This has concerned United Party for National Development UPND member Mr. Bene Hanchombwa, who says market traders should not entertain the same.
Our job continues to make sure that the presidential directive is put into action. That is very important to mention, colleagues, because we feel we were in President Hakainde Hichilema's campaign team, and one of the key things that we promised the people is that we shall not allow cadreism. And that is why we took it upon ourselves with the team here, just to check on the people in the markets.
Mr. Hanchombwa asked that the message of President Hakainde Hichilema on cadreism should not be taken lightly.
We urge anyone who is interested in trading, they must not feel ashamed. Even those who are in the PF, they can still come back and trade because they are Zambians. But if they come back to the market, they must come here with discipline and they must adapt to the new situation here, which is law. We obey the law as UPND. We know that if you commit any crime, even he knows that if they commit a crime, they stand alone.
A clean-up of the markets is soon expected to be carried out by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, which will see many who acquired land illegally losing out. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Home Affairs and Internal Security Minister Jack Mwimbo says there is need for officers charged with the responsibility to manage immigration to come up with effective strategies to improve migration management in Zambia. Speaking during the Senior and Regional Immigration Officers Annual Conference in Lusaka Tuesday, Mr. Mwimbo notes that his ministry has a huge responsibility of ensuring that those who are called to serve perform according to expectation, in line with the Republican Constitution. Meanwhile, Immigration Director General Dr. Denny Lungu says the department will work towards its mandate of maintaining, facilitating, regulating and controlling of migration matters to contribute to the maintenance of internal security.
For us to leverage the socio-economic opportunities while minimizing the adverse impact associated with migration. In view of the foregoing, the new Dawn government, under the leadership of His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, realizes that in order to achieve the Agenda 2030, which is aimed at attaining a prosperous middle-income status, those of us in here must remember that we are called to serve. We are called to do all in our power and capabilities to save the public. The people of Zambia come first. They are the reason for our existence as a ministry and its departments. We are not doing a favor to the people. We are offering a service that they deserve as prescribed by the Constitution of Zambia. Therefore, we have a huge responsibility as a ministry as well as a department that requires us to do our best at all times because, one, the department has the exclusive responsibility of ensuring that migrants to Zambia do not pose any security risk and have a contribution to make to the country.
Our preoccupation as a department will continue being the facilitation, regulation, and control of migration services in Zambia. And in doing this, we contribute to internal security and socio-economic development of the country. We promise to carry out this mandate with utmost professionalism, using a human rights-based approach.
You're watching Camnet Television and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after this break.
Savenda. Save nations, develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy: agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. Savenda. Trade and logistics made easy.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. Has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Civil Society Organizations Decentralization Alliance Network, CSO-DAN, has implored the government to improve the roads in rural areas using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. CSO-DAN Interim National Coordinator George Chimembe says the United Party for National Development government must not emulate the Patriotic Front administration by focusing on urban areas. Mr. Chimembe tells Camnet TV News that a good road network is key to attracting rural investments. Mr. Chimembe says once rural areas attract investments, it will be easy to develop various sectors of the economy. Last month, the Treasury released a total of 805 million kwacha from the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, with each constituency receiving 5.1 million kwacha for the first quarter, to enable them to implement various developmental projects.
It's also important to realize that investing in infrastructure development, especially road infrastructure, is what will drive the agenda for a decentralized governance system, which has scope greatly in terms of driving decentralization. And also we think that when we make that same mistake that was made by the previous regime, where they concentrated on, developing urban districts at the expense of rural districts, especially in road infrastructure. I think that is making a grave mistake, and it won't help us, to develop the rural districts. The rural districts will remain rural and underdeveloped. And so we think that it is also important for the New Dawn government not to relax and sit on their laurels, thinking that they have delivered, by disbasing, CDF. That's not enough. We think that CDF is, confined to promoting or supporting community projects, those that don't require a lot of money. But, investing in road infrastructure requires colossal sums of money. And I think unless we put a deliberate policy towards, supporting projects.
Chipangali District Council Chairperson Maxon Nkoma has expressed disappointment at the buying price of tobacco in the area, adding that the price being used is abusive to the farmers. Mr. Nkoma tells Camnet News that farmers have been complaining to his office, stating that the price of commodities has gone up, hence the need for tobacco prices to also increase. He explains that while the district is grateful to the companies that are operating in the district, they should be considerate of the market prices, which are directly linked to the prices of commodities.
But the prices of the inputs were quite very high. So to still offer the same prices to the farmers which they offered last year is unacceptable, and it is an insult to the farmers. So I wish to assure the farmers in Chipangali district that I have scheduled a meeting to meet the management of JTI and Pembalif. These are the companies that are operating in the district to buy tobacco, to ensure that we lobby for better prices. Otherwise, these prices are discouraging to the farmers, and they may, end up discouraging farmers from further production of tobacco. We need to realize that the Eastern Province, 50% of the tobacco production is coming from Chipangali district. And so when we hear such kind of reports as local leaders, we get affected. So it is for this reason that I've decided to engage Pembalif and Tobacco, JTI Tobacco Company, to ensure that they offer cost-effective prices for our farmers so that they also benefit. Otherwise, as it is, they are just being used as laborers for the tobacco companies to make money and then leave the farmers in poverty.
How much are they buying?
They are buying at the highest grade, they are buying at $2.65, and this was the same price last year. And when you look at the rate of the dollar now, it has dropped. It is at 17 kwacha. Last year, when they were selling, it was at 20 kwacha per dollar. So it means that the farmers will need more tobacco to give out in order for them to get less money. So this is unacceptable. We can't allow it. It is exploitative.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia has charged that as long as the government does not inject political will in reserving some sectors for indigenous citizens, it will be impossible to maximize the country's development. CAS President Lawrence Makumbi notes that local cleaning companies risk being reduced to spectators as foreigners continue to dominate the sector. Mr. Makumbi says the first quarter of 2022 has been generally bad because they have not been able to get business from some mining firms and chain stores. He says despite statutory instrument number 22 of 2019 empowering Zambians in the cleaning industry, multinational companies continue to disregard the law with impunity.
Millions of US dollars being externalized by this foreign cleaning company simply by sweeping the floors of 40 of the outlets of this major chain store. Our plea is simple. We are able to do this. We are able to sweep and mop the floors. If we can be able to clean the intensive care units of the hospitals, we are able to clean the hospitals, clinics, and also some of the banks that are in Zambia. Us Zambians are able to do it. Why are we being denied the opportunity to clean the floors of this major chain store? It's our plea to the New Dawn government. You have to help us. You have to come to our aid this year to make sure that we get this business at this chain store. It's illegal for this foreign cleaning company to do business in Zambia because we have SI number 22 of 2019, which stipulates that cleaning is a preserve of Zambians. But this chain store management have with impunity refused to give Zambians the opportunity to clean. Their contracts ended at 2021 February. That is the submission they made to the CEC. Hence, we want this business to be given to Zambians so that we can create jobs. We can also stabilize the kwacha by the millions of dollars that are being externalized if we use them as the cleaning entrepreneurs here in Zambia.
Former Konkola Copper Mines KCM provisional liquidator Milingo Lungu has sued the Attorney General, the Drug Enforcement Commission DEC, and another in the Constitutional Court seeking an order that his purported rearrest is an abuse of criminal proceedings. Mr. Lungu wants the court to declare that the Director of Public Prosecutions, having granted him immunity against prosecution in matters relating to his performance as KCM provisional liquidator, his purported arrest and commencement of criminal proceedings are in abuse. In a petition filed in court, Mr. Lungu wants the court to grant him an order of prohibition directed at the Attorney General Boyd Munalula, Senior Investigations Officer, Anti-Money Laundering Unit at DEC, and Administrator General, restraining them from investigating, arresting, and prosecuting him in respect of his performance as provisional liquidator of KCM. Mr. Lungu also wants the court to quash the DEC's decision to charge and arrest him on April 7, 2022 for possession of property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. He has further requested the court to compel the DEC not to further investigate, arrest, and prosecute him on matters that form part of the indemnity. Mr. Lungu states that he entered into a bargain with the state agents spearheaded by Principal Private Secretary to the President Bradford Majila, Special Assistant to the President for Legal Affairs Christopher Mundia, Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha, Solicitor General Marshall Muchende, Director of Public Prosecutions Lilian Siyunyi, and Natasha Kalimukwa, the Administrator General. He says the parties agreed to a forensic audit that would lead to the dropping of the criminal charges against him and an indemnity or immunity to prosecution. The Ministry of Health is targeting to vaccinate over 28,000 children against poliomyelitis in Kasempa district of Northwestern Province in the forthcoming National Polio Vaccination Campaign. Kasempa Health Promotional Officer Christopher Kaole disclosed that the district is targeting to vaccinate 28,826 children against poliomyelitis, which causes paralysis in children. Mr. Kaole further disclosed that polio vaccination campaign is being carried out in four phases countrywide. Mr. Kaole added that the phased approach of the polio vaccination will maximize the efficacy of the poliomyelitis vaccine, further urging community members to report any paralysis case in the society that happened recently. Mr. Kaole said the isolation of suspected polio cases is paramount, as one infected child is able to spread it to about 200 other children. Meanwhile, District Administrative Officer Neboth Lubelenga has implored stakeholders to sensitize community members on the vaccination against poliomyelitis. He added that there is need to manage misinformation regarding the polio vaccination for the campaign to yield positive results. The second round of the National Poliomyelitis Vaccination Campaign will run from the 25th to the 28th of April 2022. This is Camnet Television Main News. After the break, we'll have international and sports news. Stay tuned.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And in foreign news, South Africa has declared a national disaster after a storm killed hundreds of people. President Cyril Ramaphosa says more needs to be spent shoring up defenses against the effects of climate change. In 24 hours last week, up to 40 centimeters of rain fell in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
The heavy rains have stopped, but the crisis is still unfolding. South Africa's National Defence Force says 10,000 troops will head to the KwaZulu-Natal province to help clear out the devastation left by days of flooding. More than 400 people were killed, dozens are missing. This rescue team is looking for one of them.
We're out here helping, looking for our neighbor. We're sure she was swept by the river because we found her son's body nearby, but she is still missing.
Families are left to wait and manage one painful struggle after another.
The situation is bad. Her son is already at the morgue, but since we haven't found his mother yet, we don't know where to lay his remains.
The floods left thousands of people homeless. It also knocked out power and water services. President Cyril Ramaphosa says climate change fueled the disaster and new measures are needed to prepare for extreme weather.
We need to increase our investment in climate adaptation measures to better safeguard communities against the effects of climate change.
The government has declared a state of disaster with nearly $7 million allocated for relief efforts. With communities hit hard, rescue teams say it will take more than time and money to fully recover. Hundreds of thousands of children are due to return to school on Tuesday after the Easter holiday weekend, but authorities warn for many that won't yet be possible. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera.
The governor of the Central Bank of West African States, also known as Bessiao Tiemoko Meiliet Kone, has been appointed Vice President of Cote d'Ivoire by President Alassane Ouattara on Tuesday. Ouattara further reappointed Patrick Achi to his premier post. Mr. Kone, who has headed the BCAO since 2011, is also an economist and a well-known technocrat. The position of Vice President has been vacant since Daniel Kablan Duncan resigned on July 8, 2020, the day Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly died. He also served between 2007 and 2011 as Director of Prime Minister's Cabinet, then as Minister of Construction, Urban Planning and Housing, and finally as Special Advisor to the President of the Republic in charge of economic and monetary issues.
Mali has publicized the arrival of new military equipment from Russia. Sharing videos on social media, military officials showed and commented the delivery of 2 combat helicopters and surveillance radars sent by Moscow, praising it as a sign of fruitful partnership between the two nations. Mali's transitional government took power in 2020 and has since been building strong ties with Russia. At the same time, relations with France in the region since 2013 have deteriorated, concluding in Paris' decision to move its troops out of Mali last February. Last month, Mali received 2 Russian-made combat helicopters and radars. Some international NGOs have recently accused Russian private fighters and the Malian army of violating human rights during joint counter-insurgency operations conducted in the country. Allegations Bamako denies, saying no Russian mercenaries are present on their soil and the Russian state is only helping them protect the population.
Let's have some sports news now. And in sports news, Pep Guardiola refused to talk about Manchester City's prospects of signing Erling Braut Haaland, but the feeling is he will end up joining the club. Borussia Dortmund striker Haaland has a 75 million euros release clause. City and Real Madrid have been viewed as the likely destinations for the Norwegian. But with Real trying to secure Kylian Mbappe on a free transfer from Paris Saint-Germain, City have made Haaland a priority. Blues officials have refused to comment on the situation, and Guardiola followed suit when he was asked about fresh reports of a deal being agreed between City and Haaland. However, Guardiola has spoken repeatedly this season about wanting a number 9 after his failure to lure Harry Kane from Tottenham last summer. And while the City boss remains a huge admirer of Kane, the fact the 28-year-old still has 2 years left on his contract with Spurs means financially signing Haaland now makes more sense. The 21-year-old has enhanced his reputation this term with 25 goals in 26 appearances for Dortmund this season, including a double in Saturday's 6-1 win over Wolfsburg. He has scored 82 goals in 85 games since joining the Bundesliga side from Red Bull Salzburg in December 2019. Haaland is keen to test himself at a higher level, and Dortmund have always known they were vulnerable to an approach from one of Europe's biggest clubs. To end Camnet television main news, the headlines once again. Police institute investigations into the abduction of a mobile money agent. Suspected UPND cadres continue to oppress drivers at KULIMA-TOWER bus station. Teachers at a private school in KANYAMA protest against unpaid salaries. In international news, South Africa declares national disaster after storm killed hundreds. And in sports news, Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola refuses to speak about Borussia Dortmund striker HAALAND. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from Romans 10 verse 11 to 13. Now the scripture says, everyone who believes on him will not be put to shame, for there is no distinction between Jew and Greek, since the same Lord of all is rich to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Thank you for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo, and have a good night.